It was just a simple choice, a decision made in a moment. But for one man, returning a lost wallet didn't just change his day. It changed the entire course of his life. And what happened next is a lesson for us all.
Let me tell you about Leo. Leo was a simple man with a simple life. He worked as a mechanic in a small garage. He wasn't poor, but he wasn't rich either. Every day was the same. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. He felt stuck, as if his life was on a loop he couldn't escape. On this particular Tuesday, Leo was walking home, tired and covered in grease. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange. He was thinking about his bills, about how he wished he could give his family a little more, a better life, a little hope.
As he took a shortcut through the park, his foot kicked something leathery. He looked down. There, half hidden under a bench, was a wallet. He picked it up. It was thick, heavy. His heart started to beat a little faster. He looked around. No one was there. The park was empty. Slowly, he opened it.
Inside, there was a stack of cash, a lot of cash, more than he made in a month. His fingers trembled as he flicked through the bills. This could solve so many problems. This could be his escape, his ticket out of the loop. For a long minute, Leo just stood there. His mind raced. Finders keepers, a voice inside him said. No one will ever know. It's your lucky day. He imagined paying off his debts, buying his wife the necklace she always wanted, taking his kids on a real vacation. The temptation was a physical weight in his hand. It felt so easy, so right.
But then he looked deeper into the wallet. Behind the money, he found a photo. A smiling old man with a young girl on his shoulders. They looked so happy. He found credit cards, a driver's license. The man's name was Arthur Pendleton. He had an address. This wasn't just money anymore. This was a person, a life.
A war broke out inside Leo. The voice of temptation was loud, but a quieter, deeper voice began to speak. The voice of his father, who had always said, "Son, your character is what you do when no one is watching." What was he? A thief or an honest man? He looked at the photo of the old man and the little girl. What if this was his grandfather? What if this money was for her medicine, for her school? His own problems suddenly felt smaller. The right thing felt so much heavier than the wallet in his hand.
With a deep sigh that seemed to come from his very soul, Leo made his choice. He closed the wallet. He turned, and instead of walking home, he walked towards the address on the driver's license. It was a nice house in a quiet neighborhood. He stood at the gate, his courage fading. Maybe no one is home, he thought. Maybe this is a sign to just walk away. But he didn't. He walked up and rang the doorbell.
The door opened, and there stood the man from the photo, Arthur. He looked worried, tired. "Can I help you?" Arthur asked, his voice cautious. Leo held out the wallet. I think you lost this, sir." The old man's eyes widened. He took the wallet, his hands shaking even more than Leo's had been. He opened it, and a look of pure relief washed over his face. You found it," Arthur whispered, his voice cracking. "You brought it back." Leo just nodded, ready to leave, but Arthur grabbed his hand. "Please, come in. You have no idea what you've done."
Inside, Arthur explained. The cash wasn't for anything special, but in the wallet, tucked behind the photo, was a small, worn-out key. A key to a safety deposit box that held the only copy of his late wife's will. It was the only thing he had left of her. It was priceless. "I've been sick with worry," Arthur said, tears in his eyes. The money I could replace, but this key, this memory, it's everything. Young man, you have returned a piece of my soul to me." Leo stayed for tea. He learned that Arthur was a retired clockmaker. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, and he lived alone. They talked for over an hour. It was the most meaningful conversation Leo had in years. As Leo got up to leave, Arthur stopped him again. "Please," he said, pushing the stack of cash towards Leo, "take it as a reward, I insist." But Leo shook his head. He smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile. "Thank you, sir. But keeping my honesty, that is the real reward. It's enough for me."
He walked out of that house feeling lighter than air. The weight of temptation was gone, replaced by a feeling of pure, clean joy. He had done the right thing, and that was better than any amount of money. But the story doesn't end there.
Leo accepted. He learned a new, valuable skill. His income doubled. But more than that, he found a friend in Arthur, a mentor. His life was no longer a loop. It had meaning. It had connection. All because of one simple, honest choice. So, what's the lesson here? It's not that good deeds are always rewarded with money or a new job. Sometimes the only reward is the peace in your heart. The real lesson is this: your integrity is your most valuable currency. In a world that often tells you to look out for yourself first, choosing honesty, choosing kindness, that is a superpower. The next time you face a choice, a temptation, remember Leo. Remember that the heaviest weight you can carry is not the problem in front of you, but the regret of a choice you know was wrong. Do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, because you never know what happens next.